Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you are doing well. In previous lecture, we discussed about the Umayyad Caliphate. After the Umayyad, next Caliphate is the Abbasid Caliphate. So in this lecture, we will discuss about the Abbasid Caliphate. Abbasid came into power in 130 to 134 year of Hijrah, accordingly 750 CE, and this Caliphate ends in 656 year of Hijrah, accordingly 1258 CE. The Abbasid came into power after the Abbasid Revolution, which basically starts in the Persian part of Islamic Empire. Abbasid Revolution starts in the Persian part of Islamic Empire. The basis of the revolution are the why the people revolt against the Umayyad. There were different issues. During the 89 years of Umayyad rule, the Muslim world experienced exponential growth geographically, militarily, and economically. Muslim armies pushed into India in the east and into Spain and France in the west. And the economy of Umayyad Caliphate was very stable. Society was incredibly wealthy, and there were very good times. But during to these achievements and power, there were troubles for the Umayyads. The first problem was the inequitable treatment with non-Arabs. As the Umayyad Caliphate imposed the tax on new converts, on the non-Arab Muslims, as we discussed in the previous lecture. So the non-Arab Muslims suffered as a second-class citizens and being forced to be the dependents of Arab tribes. And despite the fact that the majority of the population of the Umayyad Caliphate was the non-Arab Muslims. So it creates the problems for Umayyads. First of all, doing so was the contradictory to Islamic law, which requires the equal treatment with all the Muslims. And this is the most attractive message of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And this policy, imposing the tax on the new converts, was clearly went against the teachings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So when Umar II came into power, he changed this policy. But after his death, the rest of the Umayyad ruling family opposed his reforms. And when he died, the equitable treatment with all the races in the Umayyad Empire also ended. And after that, the serious plans to remove the Umayyads from the power started. So this was the first reason that the non-Arab Muslims were against the Umayyads. So they want to remove the Umayyads from the power. The second reason was that, as we discussed, their legitimacy. We discussed it earlier, and we know that from the beginning of the Umayyad rule in 661 CE, one of the major problems they had was the legitimacy. As unlike the first four caliphs, the Umayyads were not chosen by popular opinion or by respected community leaders. So Umayyad rule was essentially based on their ability to keep the Muslims united, Muslim world united and organized after the upheaval of Ali Radhiyallahu anhu's time. One group that offered an alternate to the Umayyad rule was the people who favored the rule of Hazrat Ali Radhiyallahu anhu's family. The reason that since Ali Radhiyallahu anhu was the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's son, cousins and son-in-law, his family had the most right to rule. This ideology found supporters among the people of Iraq as well as the Hijaz, where the descendant of Hazrat Ali Radhiyallahu anhu lived. Later on, this political ideology would morph into a new sect known as the Al-Tashi or Shia. But in the year of 700s, They were indistinguishable from traditional Islam, and only difference was the politics. So the problem with the people who supported rule being given to the Prophet ﷺ's family was that they lacked the organizational skills and power to overthrow the Umayyad and establish themselves. That is where another group that was related to the Prophet ﷺ stepped in. That was the Abbasids. They are the descendant of the uncle of Holy Prophet, Hazrat Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So the Abbasid sent secret missionaries to the Persian provinces of the empire in 730s and 740s, where discontent against the Umayyad was a common sentiment. Since most Muslims in this area were non-Arabs, they were basically Persian Muslims, so the Abbasid knew they could count on the support of these people. In order to get the support of the new converts and the pious-minded and pro-elite, the Abbasid claimed that one of the descendants of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu officially transferred the right to rule the Islamic community, transferred to the Abbasid family. Whether or not this actually happened, it helped give the Abbasids some legitimacy as the rightful rulers of the Muslim world, something which the Umayyad don't have. So along with the rising unpopularity of the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid started their plan. They supported the claim of the descendant of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, of the son of descendant of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. That time he was the Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, and after his death his son Abu Hashim. Abu Hashim's supporters were called as the Hashimiyya. They grew to be a well-organized party, but the Hashimiyya faced a leadership transition when Abu Hashim passed away. The Abbasid claimed that Abu Hashim transferred to them power transferred to them through the Muhammad ibn Ali, who was the great-grandson of Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And the leadership of the Islamic community has been transferred to him in the 8th century, in the beginning of 8th century, in the early of 8th century. So Muhammad ibn Ali, and he was the great-grandson of Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and after his death his son Ibrahim took over the Hashmiya network and the propaganda campaign, undermining the authority of the Umayyads with their small followers. During this time, Abu Muslim, a Persian slave, he proved to be one of the Ibrahim's most trusted followers. He proved his worth. He was a smart and charismatic. So Ibrahim assigned him to Khurasan to gather the support for their cause, and when the time came to instigate a revolt. Abu Muslim gained the support of many by touching the issues of many sectors of the Umayyad society. For example, for the Shia and the Shi, he presented the Abbasid as the bringers of justice for the death of Hazrat Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Another group, the Kharijites, he presented them the opportunity to fight the unjust Umayyad rule. For the non-Arab converts, he offered the Abbasids to bring equality and the fall of the Arab domination over the majority non-Arab population. And as he was Persian, so his Persian background provided more credibility to his promise. So he also gained the support of Arab tribes that were against the Umayyads. So in brief, the Abbasid revolution supported by promising the right to the wrongs to the corrupt and discriminating Umayyad Caliphate. So when the Marwan II won the civil war between the Umayyad and became the Caliph in 644 CE, the Abbasids started their movement. Ibrahim sent Abu Muslim a black flag, signaling that you should start the revolt. So in 747, after 3 years, in 747, after getting this secretly promises of support throughout the eastern part of the Muslim world, that is the Persia, the Abbasid decided that time was right to open revolt. So their distinctive black banners and flags were raised near the ancient city of Merv in the province of Khorasan, where popular support was very strong for the Abbasid revolutionaries. So as the revolution regarded, the Umayyads imprisoned Ibrahim, the leader of the Abbasid movement, where he died in this prison after some time. But with the his imprisonment, the revolt spread, growing into a revolution against the Caliphate. In 748, the Abbasid advanced to Iraq, captured the Kufa, and other major cities such as the Isfahan and Ray. And in the late months of 749, Abu Muslim and the Abbasid revolutionaries controlled the Persia and Mesopotamia. And after that, in November 749, Ibrahim died in the prison. Now Abu Muslim and the revolutionaries appointed the new head of the Abbasid. The new head was Abu Abbas, and they gave him the title of Amir al-Mu'minin, or the commander of the faithful and the Caliph. So in 750, the Abbasid faced a threat from the Caliph Marwan II, where he himself marched against with his army against the rebels, against the Abbasid revolutionaries. So the Abbasid and the Umayyad armies met in the Great Zab River, where the Abbasid dealt a decisive blow against the Umayyads. So the Abbasid victory forced Caliph Marwan II to flee to Egypt. In Egypt, he was captured and executed by Abbasid supporters. Those responsible for Marwan II's death sent his head and his caliphal staff and going back to the new Abbasid Caliph, that was Abbasid, and his name was Abu Abbas. With the death of the Marwan II, Damascus and other Umayyad strongholds in Syria and in that region surrendered. The tomb of the Umayyad Caliph desecrated, and Caliph Abu Abbas, however, he believed that his position is risky as long as the other Umayyad princes remain alive. So then he ordered the killings of the members of Umayyad family, but one Umayyad prince escaped the slaughter. His name was Prince Abdurrahman ibn Muawiyah. He fled Syria and then into the North Africa before crossing the Strait of Gibraltar and into the Emirate of Cordoba. There he established a emirate and later caliphate, the Cordoba Caliphate, and making the most western province of the Islamic Empire the last bastion of Umayyad Caliphate in the Iberian Peninsula. After the revolution, the Abbasid managed to create a more equitable Islamic society as they had promised, but failed to fulfill all the hopes that came along with their overthrow of the Umayyads. From their new capital in Baghdad, the Abbasid established a dynasty much like the Umayyad that came before them. Despite giving non-Arabs a more equal role in the society, the Abbasid failed to honor their promises to go back to the early days of the Caliphate and that utopian society. Like the Umayyads and every other dynasty in Islamic history, there were positive and negative aspects of the Abbasids' rule as well. But here you should remember one thing, that when studying Islamic history, it is important to avoid painting any one group as 100% good or 100% bad. With the exception of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, almost every historical figure, every historical movement and empire has good and bad qualities. When applying this understanding to the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates, we can appreciate the achievements and lofty ideas of both, while still understanding that they were both less than perfect and had their flaws. So in next we will discuss about the Abbasid caliphs.